What's going on, motivators? We've got another video. We got to talk about the governor's race in California. Final debate. Let's get into this.
Candidates now have even less time to make their final pitch to voters ahead of the June 2nd primary election. The key target of attacks in this debate, Democrat Xavier Becerra, whose support has surged following Eric Swalwell's exit from the race.
The Golden State's top job is up for grabs as Gavin Newsom exits after 2 terms.
7 leading candidates for California governor rating the person whose shoes they're hoping.
It's only 2 terms for Gavin Newsom. It feels like it's forever. It felt like a lifetime, straight up.
To fill.
Performative.
Bold.
Progressive.
Failed.
Steve. Failure. You can't take my word.
All right.
Game-changing.
Incomplete.
The clear difference.
Gave a game-changing for Gavin Newsom. These people, how is Gavin Newsom game-changing? He made the state worse. How is that game-changing? I guess you could say game-changing for the worse. Wow.
In those one-word answers between the Democratic and Republican candidates also evident in issues like immigration.
We should abolish ICE. It's breaking the law.
No one has broken the law in California.
You should abolish ICE. You should create more ICE. It shows you off the bat, what are those people for? Who are they for? They're not for their constituents and upholding the rule of law. You want to abolish ICE. It's saying the same thing like they've said before. Abolish law enforcement.
And this interaction between Katie Porter and Steve Hilton after Porter says immigrants contribute significantly to our economy.
Given that you're an immigrant and you added to our
Illegal
population
immigrant.
and we're all having to live with the consequences of that decision.
Katie, there's a difference I think you'll accept between legal and illegal immigration.
And this is where Democrats blur the line. They always blur the line between legal and illegal. Immigrants are good. The legal portion is good. The illegal portion is bad.
More divide over President Trump, who has endorsed Steve Hilton.
The fact is, all you do is point at Democrats, scream
Well,
at
you have been in
Democrats,
charge for 16
and don't have
years,
anything
Antonio.
else to say.
And yes, I'm going to repeat Donald Trump as often as I have to because he's the real menace we have in California.
You've got nothing else to say.
Your perspective.
On how each would work with the federal government under Trump.
If he's going to attack California, yeah, F him.
To work with the president regardless of party.
That's why I had to go toe-to-toe with him in court.
And I agree with that statement. It doesn't matter who the president is. You have to be able to work with that person. Doesn't mean you're going to agree on everything he or she says. Like you had Mondani in New York who was saying a whole bunch of things prior to the election. But he understands that as the mayor, you have to work for your constituents. You have to be able to meet the president on things that you guys see eye to eye with. It doesn't matter that you don't like everything that he does. The things that they do, you need to be able to come together. And that is what is going wrong with the country nowadays. Republicans and Democrats used to have this rationale. Well, let's work in a bipartisan peace, right? To get things done for the American people. It doesn't mean that both sides don't have some crazy ideas. It doesn't mean that both sides does not have some crazy ideas that will never come to the center. Yes, they do. But what is bipartisan? Let's work 50-50. I get some, you get some when we move forward. But nowadays, it seems that no one wants that to happen. Nowadays, it seems no one wants that to happen. How will anything get done in the country? Because we all don't think the same.
Best resistance is delivering results.
You're not going to hear one word from me about President Trump, President Biden, or anything else, because I'm going to be the only one on the stage that's actually going to be the governor of California for Californians.
Because I've been in enough boardrooms to know a crook when I see one, and he is a crook.
But I can also challenge Donald Trump.
And multiple I've had it moments from Katie Porter in which she addressed head-on concerns regarding her past.
For sure.
Boys.
But it's not.
Boys. Enough with the
I'll get right back to
bickering.
you.
I can't believe that on a stage with 30 minutes of interrupting and bickering and name-calling and shouting and disrespect for everyone up here who's stepping into public service, that anyone wants to talk about my temperament.
Seemed like Katie Porter tried to have a Kamala Harris moment. Let me try to tame the waters right here and show I'm the only one who's making sense and have a calm temperament. I mean, everybody knew what she did. She walked away from her own interview, and that's why she's polling so low right now.
An oath keeper is qualified to be governor.
I don't think
of
you
California.
know what an oath keeper is.
And do you still consider yourself a member of that group, to be clear?
No.
And unsurprising for many, most of the attacks, left and right, targeted toward leading Democratic candidate Xavier Becerra.
Being in bed with oil companies is a mistake. Javier Becerra has taken the max amount of money from Chevron.
Yeah, it's a rich response from a guy who made his billions investing in fossil fuels and oil companies.
In his counter-argument, Becerra pointing to...
I don't know, Becerra, he strikes me as alarming. Anybody that Gavin Newsom is backing, I'm wondering, like, what are two of you guys been doing? Because Gavin Newsom and Becerra, like, they're pretty much the same kind of people, it looks like.
Controversies over Steyer's past investments in fossil fuel and oil companies, which Steyer has admitted to and said he stopped more than a decade ago.
Congresswoman Porter, your thoughts on the idea of funding health care for undocumented immigrants statewide?
Yes.
Was over the issue of health care and whether there should be a single payer system in California where the government pays for health care for everyone. Some say yes.
I said everybody in California
So you would
has a right to health care. And let's answer
California
this out.
should fund that.
The truth of the matter is, immigrants built this state.
Others say no.
It's ridiculous. We're encouraged.
Again, these people will never differentiate legal from illegal. I don't understand why they keep doing that.
Are we going to draw the line at any other crime? It's illegal. They entered the country illegally. We're not going to incentivize them to come here to take more of the resources that regular Californians aren't getting.
And there was a lot of pressure for Xavier Becerra to give a clear answer.
Do you support CalCare, California having its own state-run single-payer system, yes or no?
And what we have to do is get to the point where we are covering everyone with something like Medicare for all.
Covering everyone with something is not single payer. It's not even federal Medicare for all. But you won't say that whether you support California having its own state-run single-payer system.
What do you think?
I mean, going back to this, it seems like all the Democrats want to give anyone who comes to the United States full coverage. I understand residents, right, who are not citizens yet, but illegals don't understand. Why would anyone not want to come to the United States if you don't have to work for anything? They're just going to give you everything for free. There got to be something to incentivize people as far as becoming citizens. And not just you coming in here, everything's going to be handed to you. That doesn't make sense. So you have the taxpayers paying, and they can't even get a proper health care, but we're giving it to other people who are here illegally.
Debates in 3 weeks wasn't enough for you. Candidates will get another chance to debate tomorrow and another one next week. So no shortage of an opportunity to get their points across at this point.
Okay, Greg Lee, thank you.
All right, we'll see you at 11 too. And just ahead of tonight's debate, Tom Steyer did receive a big endorsement from former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown. Other Democrats were hoping to get the nod. Katie Porter recently sat down with Willie Brown, posting a photo of their meeting just a week ago. And Xavier Becerra announcing that he has been endorsed by labor leader Dolores Huerta. Becerra said the endorsement is an honor, calling Huerta a relentless champion for working people and justice. The United Farm Workers Union, co-founded by Huerta, represents thousands of workers.
All right, so a lot of this debate was about temperament. Katie Porter obviously kept trying to talk about temperament and bring that forward as the only woman in the race, pushing back on the ability to at least complete a thought. But all of them were talking and placing their role, if you will, that they had the temperament, whether that was to be governor of California, whether that was to push back against Donald Trump. And as Greg highlighted it on the piece there, immigration that happened about 6:30, around that time is when the immigration debate started. That led to some fireworks. Matt Mahan was...
Holistically, you could see what Democrats are for. Just letting everyone inside the country free. Free health care, no borders. That's all they were for when you look at the whole debate, right? And not trying to figure out a proper way of making California better for the Californian people, right? How about thinking for Californians first before we think outside the other skirts. That's why one thing I like about Bianco, he's thinking about California. The same thing with Hilton. The Democrats, they're thinking about how can we make the constituent feel, oh, the feelings of feeling good by propping up. We're going to give this free. We're going to make this free. We're going to make people vote. It's all at the end of the day going to make the state worse and the cities worse.
To a victory in a state like California where Trump is so unpopular.
Yeah, it's a difficult puzzle to solve. Although I have to say for Hilton, I didn't know much about him before I started following this campaign. I interviewed him yesterday on my radio show. He's quite articulate about asking the right questions, which is this. If the state is failed, if the education system has failed, if it's an affordability crisis, if we're only one of 5 states where people are actually leaving instead of going into, if you have all these problems, is it a good idea to have one-party rule for so long? And Hilton, I think, has articulated that. I asked him yesterday, is it possible for a Republican to get elected governor of California? He has a way to lay out the math that shows, yes, you could attract independents and even some disaffected Democrats who are sort of fed up with the fact that they live in a state that's beautiful and has all these things going for it, but has been so mismanaged that people hate living here so much that they're fleeing to Miami and other places. And, watching this debate tonight, watching Democrats argue with each other about
Facts. People hate California so much, not the state, but the policies that they're fleeing to different places for real. You're talking about Florida, you're talking about Texas, everywhere on the East Coast, but California. It remains to be seen. Hopefully it's still Hilton or Chad Bianco. At least one of them is in there so that we could have a fighting chance towards actual election day. But let me know what you think within the comments. All right, motivators, if you enjoy what you've seen and heard, please like, comment, share, but most importantly, subscribe to A Black Veteran's Perspective. Stay motivated.